Hey guys, so today's video is going to be on borderline personality disorder. I know, it probably seemed like I was excited about this. I didn't mean to come across that. Um, but anyway, so for those of you who don't know what borderline personality disorder is, it's this extremely, it's, well, not, it's a serious mental illness marked by unstable moods, behavior, and relationships. And because some people with severe borderline personality disorder have brief psychotic episodes, experts originally thought of it as the illness as atypical or borderline versions of other mental disorders. Although now mental health experts generally agree, the name borderline personality disorder is a bit misleading. There isn't a term that exists quite yet that's more accurate than borderline personality disorder. Alright. But people who suffer from borderline personality disorder suffer with problems with regulating emotions and thoughts, impulsive and reckless behavior, and unstable relationships with other people. People with this disorder also have high rates of co-occurring disorders. For example, depression, anxiety disorders, substance abuse, eating disorders, along with self-harm, suicidal behaviors, and completed suicides. So the causes of borderline personality disorder, pretty much, okay, so the thing is, the research on the possible causes and risk factors for borderline personality disorder, it's still at a very early stage. But scientists generally agree that genetic and environmental factors are most likely to be involved with causes on borderline personality disorder. Yeah. And another, social and cultural factors could possibly increase the risk for borderline. Yeah. Alright, so signs and symptoms of people who suffer from borderline personality disorder must have at least 5 of the following symptoms. Extreme reactions to abandonment, whether real or perceived, including panic, rage, or panic, depression, rage, or frantic actions. A pattern of intense and stormy relationships with family, friends, and loved ones, often going from extreme closeness and love idealization to extreme dislike or anger, or also known as devaluation. Distorted and unstable self-image or sense of self, which can result in sudden changes in feelings, opinions, values, or plans and goals for the future, such as school or career choices. Impulsive and often dangerous behavior such as spending money unsafe sex, substance abuse, reckless driving, and binge eating. Recurring suicidal thoughts or threats or self-harming behavior, such as cutting. Intense and highly changeable moods, with each episode lasting from a few hours to a few days. Chronic feelings of emptiness and or boredom. Inappropriate intense anger or problems controlling anger. And the 10th and final one being having stress-related paranoid thoughts or severe dissociative symptoms, such as feeling cut off from oneself, observing oneself from outside the body, or losing touch with reality. Seemingly mundane events can possibly trigger these symptoms. For example, an example being people with borderline personality may feel angry and distressed over minor separations, such as vacations, business plans, trips, or even sudden change of plans from people they feel close to. Alright. So self-injurious behavior includes suicide and suicide attempts, as well as self-harming behavior. About as many as 80% of people with borderline personality have suicidal behaviors, but only 4 to 9% of those people actually kill themselves. Yeah. So, the kind of people at risk. So, according to data from a sample of participants in a national survey on mental disorders, around 1.6% of adults in the U.S. have borderline personality in a given year. In any given year, really. Usually, borderline personality begins during adolescence or early adulthood. Some studies do suggest that some early symptoms of borderline personality can occur during childhood. Alright. Alright, so yeah. Alright. Alright, so alright, so according to this website, NIMH.nih.gov, the diagnosis part of it, unfortunately, borderline personality is either often underdiagnosed or often misdiagnosed. Okay, so women who are with borderline personality are more likely to have co-occurring disorders such as major depression, anxiety disorders, or eating disorders. In men, it's more likely to co-occur with disorders such as substance abuse or antisocial personality. See, now that's not true, because not all men who have borderline personality is more likely to co-occur with disorders such as substance abuse or antisocial personality. because there are some guys who, like, I've never met anyone personally who's a guy with borderline personality. But not all guys. There are some guys who suffer with major depression, anxiety, and an eating disorder, and also has borderline personality. Alright. Okay, so again, according to NIMH.nih.gov, according to the NIMH-funded National Comorbidity Survey Replication, which is the largest national study to date of mental disorders, in U.S. adults. Around 85% of people who have borderline personality also meet the diagnosis criteria of another mental illness. Other illnesses that often occur with borderline personality include diabetes, high blood pressure, chronic back pain, arthritis, and fibromyalgia. Sorry. Yeah. Alright, so according to the same website that I'm on, it says that for treatments, it's often viewed as difficult to treat. But recent research shows that borderline personality can be treated effectively, and that many people with borderline personality can improve over time. So apparently it can be treated with psychotherapy or talk therapy. In some cases, a mental health professional may also recommend medications to treat specific symptoms. Yeah. Alright, so under the subsection of treatments, psychotherapy, usually it's the first treatment for people with borderline personality. And current research suggests psychotherapy can relieve some symptoms, but further studies are needed to better understand how well psychotherapy works. Alright. Okay, so types of psychotherapies to treat BPD include the following: cognitive behavioral therapy, short, also known as CBT for short. It can help people with borderline personality identify and change core beliefs and or behaviors that underlie inaccurate perceptions of themselves and others and problems interacting with others. CBT can help reduce a range of mood and anxiety symptoms and reduce the number of suicidal or self-harming behavior. Okay, so like dialectical behavior therapy, DBT. This type of therapy focuses on the concept of mindfulness or being aware of and attentive to the current situation. DBT teaches skills to control intense emotions, reduces self-destructive behaviors, and improves relationships. It differs from CBT in that it seeks a balance between changing and accepting beliefs and behaviors. Alright, then SFT, scheme-focused therapy, combines elements of CBT with other forms of psychotherapy that focuses on reframing schemas or the way people view themselves. This approach is based on the idea that BBT stems from a dysfunctional self-image, possibly brought on by negative childhood experiences that affect how people react to their environment, interact with others, and cope with problems or stress. Alright. Alright, anyway. But yeah. Jeez. Sorry. But yeah. Alright, well, I'm gonna go. Peace the fuck out.